Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of SEOs Getting Coffee. Today, we have a brilliant guest with us, Corina Burri, who is a freelance SEO consultant. And we're going to be talking about something that is really important these days because there's a lot of consultants out there. The competition is fierce, a lot of good ones as well, like Corina. So how can these consultants actually build their business in terms of links and mentions? So how do they get up out there? And I know Karina has done some brilliant work on her own freelancing business. So I'm excited to hear how,
Welcome,
you know,
Corina. Great to have you.
Hi, thanks for having me. Hi, thanks for the intro, Emina.
brilliant. Is there anything you would like to say about yourself that I didn't mention?
Sure. Well, as you said, a freelance SEO consultant. I'm based in Switzerland, in Zurich, the German-speaking area. I've just mentioned before, it's my first full week after maternity leave, so I'm very
Woo!
excited and a bit nervous to get back. I'm not trembling right now, but inside, like a bit. Yeah, previously been in finance and tech companies. Also, like my ideal clients, they are in finance and FinTech.
Oh, nice. That's a good sector. All right. Link building. We all know that freelancers you're busy people. I mean, usually you
Exactly.
go freelance because you want to have a more work-life balance. So, but it ends up being busy because of that as well. So when do you find the time to even go and do link building?
Yeah, exactly. Good question. So, well, basically, I have my whole schedule a bit structured. So I do Monday to Wednesday, I do like focus on client work. I would not do anything on my business unless, I don't know, if there's like a LinkedIn post that is time sensitive, I would do it, but focus on it. Thursdays, I'm off. And on Friday, I would work on my business where I would write articles to accounting and whatever, all the fun things we have to do. And there I would also do the link building activities.
Do you
So
Brilliant.
split?
I
Do you
try to.
split your week then? So you have like specific days for specific activities. So like you give
Yeah.
yourself Friday to work on yourself. Did it take you a while to get to that like scheduling, or did you kind of start out with that? Did it take a while to learn that maybe you need to kind of allocate specific time to certain things?
I've heard actually a friend who's a freelancer. She gave me the tip very in the beginning, and I tried to stick to it, and it really helped me because this constant change of scenery it caused some I don't know distraction in my brain. So this really helped. Also, to block time out in my calendar helped. But I'm not like, obviously, if there's an urgency on Friday, of course, I would take a client call. Thursday is more difficult because I'm with the kids, so the client calls are difficult. But I try to be, yeah.
But no, it's a brilliant strategy. That's the thing. Building your links and your mentions, as you say, is just a little part of it, but it's good to have a section of the day, of a specific day that is intended for it. And okay, run us through what are some of the, strategies and tactics that you use when you're building links for your freelance business.
So I've done a couple of things. When I would just, start out, one of the first things I would do is I would add a so-called now page to my website, which is it's your domain, corinaburri.com/now. And on this page, you share what you're kind of focusing right now in those months. And there's like a bigger movement, which is called the Now movement, where they have a directory of all the people who have a Now page, and they would link back to you. So this was like a one-off, and I saw it initially on Kevin Index website. And yeah, it's actually very interesting to browse also the people, and also if you're like sourcing other freelancer, you can source freelancers there. What I then would do is I sat down and was like, okay, what I'm already doing that I can leverage to get links. So I was already publishing articles, and that's also actually how it started a bit off. I wrote articles, I published them on LinkedIn, and nothing happened. So it was kind of the spray and pray approach. And then at some point I realized I thought you need to be discovered to get into the newsletters and other blogs, etc. But I realized, hey, I can actually also pitch my work. So I would pitch my articles to SEO for newsletter from Aleda Solis, tech tips from Nikki Halliwell, kind of to leverage existing work. Another thing I did is submit expert quotes to get featured on other blogs.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And so those are kind of the ones that worked really well. But like, what was, if you were to pick one strategy that has given you the best results as a freelancer, what would it be?
Hey, being active in communities.
Woohoo!
And I
Represent.
see
Look
your
at
hoodie
this.
there, straight there. Like exclamation mark, I'm not in any community because of the links.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
there to contribute, to learn, to build, make friends. But it has been an unexpected and very welcome byproduct to build personal brand, to get visibility, and as a consequence of that, the links.
Yeah, that's the thing, because that's why you're getting them and that's why you're getting the opportunities, because that wasn't why you came there. You came to help and you came to learn, and so it's a byproduct rather than going in with that. If you just go in with like requesting links, it's not going to work.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. So you
So
spoke
with the articles, Corina, then, so like the ideas for like articles to pitch, where do they kind of come from? Does that informed by the freelance work? So there's the articles that you've got anyway, or do you analyze, what publications are selecting and then write something that they might be interested in? So, or is it just, does it come from, or is it a mixture of both?
No, the link would follow. I would not write for the link. I would write for most of the time the things that annoyed me or that I found a solution to, and I just wanted to get it off. I would maybe tell my partner he's not in SEO, he's not interested at all, so I would publish it, and then something I would maybe share with friends, and then
So it's basically getting into that habit of writing for yourself,
yeah,
I guess, and writing about your practice.
exactly. And it's also something I truly enjoyed, to get it out there, the writing down. It's also documenting for myself, for my future self. So I would also call it link building the feel good way, not like link building kind of, it's a core, I have to do it, something, that makes you
again,
happy. And this is very important because it's your freelance business. You can do whatever you want. So do it the way you like it, right?
and it's again not starting with, oh, I want a link. You're starting with, this is what I want to share about a client that I worked with, or this is a problem that I found a solution for, and then you might get a link out of it if it's just good content in the end.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's what the communities are for, though, isn't it? It's like the case of like you're learning, and I think that's the things, like communities often are fostering that kind of learning together. It's just like, hey, I've got a problem, can people help me solve it? And I think that's where like that general rhetoric comes from, of like a community helping each other. It's just like everyone's helping each other, and it enables that kind of sharing of things that you're trying to overcome, I guess, in whatever industry it may be. I mean, obviously in SEO, it's there's endless solutions potentially for a problem depending on what you wanted to do, right? So I think the community definitely fosters that, and it gets you into that cycle of thinking, well, actually, I'm just going to share like the things that I'm working on, and then it gives you ideas, I guess. Does it help foster ideas as well?
Yes, definitely. Also, like if you have an issue, you can reach out, and sometimes brainstorming with other members can get to a solution, and you can then either it stays in the community, or you can publish it as well.
And does that help? Like, have you done like any collaborations or things like that on articles?
On articles, no, not yet. I would include like print screen from private Slack conversation, obviously with consent, into the articles, or like somebody asked a question and then it kind of provoked me writing an article, but collaboration, not yet. Yeah, no, I'm up for it.
Yeah.
Send me
So
a
you're
message.
bringing that expertise from the community then, though, aren't you? Like other people's experiences, which helps obviously give any article or anything that you do produce and publish, it helps it give it, weight, and it helps to give it kind of like, well, yeah, that expertise, right?
And different perspectives also.
Yeah, exactly. So those are articles that you write
Mm-hmm.
for your page, and then one way or another, because they're really good articles, and I know they are because I read some of them, they get a link. Do you also write for other publications? So one of the ways that as a freelancer you can kind of get reach is by writing for others. Do you do that?
Yes, I did for Sitebulb and for GetResponse, a newsletter tool.
How was that experience? How was it for you? How did you make that connection? Was it again community? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so how did I get it? Yes, through Women in Tech SEO. I think I would just reach out via direct message to Jojo and asking whether I could. I had a specific article in mind. I wanted to get to a broader audience than my website. I pitched this topic to a couple of SEO tools which run a blog, and Jojo said yes. And the other one, the GetResponse, I knew that my friend Danny Leitner was writing for them, so I would also through Women in Tech SEO reach out to Lisa, and she would be up for it. I do really like writing articles for publication because of the editing. So I'm not English native, and it's such a privilege. And when the article gets edited, and it's such a privilege to get an editor working on your piece. To me, it gets like a new perspective. Also, fine tune some grammar things.
Brilliant.
This is like an added bonus for me.
Brilliant. No, it is, and I know, like, I feel completely the same. It's very nice when somebody, these are people who have been in the industry for a very long time, and yes, you can send your article off for your team to have a look at, and it goes through a few revisions, but there's something really special about having an editor for a publication. Oh my God. When I was waiting for exactly. When I was waiting for my first search engine land one, I was so nervous, but it ended up really, really good. My second one, the first version got trashed because it wasn't very good, and I knew it when I sent it. So that's my question also. When you're writing something and you're pitching, where are you with, should you wait till you're completely happy with it to send it off? Or do you sometimes kind of think good enough is good enough? Because freelancers don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So what's your approach?
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist there. I would kind of do the best I could and then send it off, and then I would be surprised if it would get trashed. Wait, this was so good. Why? But I would not be comfortable submitting, let's say, an MVP, because I believe it's also my reputation at stake.
Yeah. No, look, like, I submitted that article not thinking that it's really bad. I was surprised, but I wasn't happy with a couple of things. The problem is you can tweak forever.
Yeah.
Like, at some point you gotta send.
Yeah, exactly. There's time. Yeah, exactly. There's time. I mean, at some point, Friday is over, right? So you have to.
Exactly.
But I guess that is the beauty of working with that editor, isn't it? They have the ability to take that look at it. That's kind of, because if you're working on something, often you're kind of totally consumed by it, and often you can't step away from it. Even if you take a few days off, you come back, maybe you're slightly refreshed, but you're still in that same process. Sometimes it needs that person to come in and give their fresh view on that, and really understand, well, actually, this is what I get from this, and this is what I would suggest that, maybe can be lost, or maybe can be added, or, this tone here isn't right, or whatever it might be, right? So there's definitely that collaboration, I think, with an editor that, when obviously working for different publications, it's like a really important step in the process. But I think you have more freedom, obviously, being a freelancer, is that you can be a bit more artistic, let's say. That you can just
opinionated, you mean?
Yeah.
You can just put it out right on your site. I mean, obviously to your own.
Or you can work for Vixen like I do, and they just let me do it anyway. Because they're lovely.
But that's you just you kind of have control over that then, can't you? Like you control it, like you can just make peace with the output of something that's like, well, look, I know that it might be a draft, or it might be something that's like not quite finished, but you're happy enough and confident enough to put it out in the world. And sometimes things don't get finished, right? Sometimes things are just like thoughts, and might be more of like a journal entry, right, that are not completely finished yet. And I think that's it, is that there's a place, isn't there, between an article that could go to a publication and an article that might maybe stay. How do you make that distinction? Do you save ideas, or pool ideas, or categorize ideas of what might be nice for a publication compared to what might be nice for your own site?
Oh, yes, I believe there's a Trello card on my board for this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would tend to pitch things that I know would not get essentially traffic on my website. So, for instance, I pitched like the adventures of a personal website. And I believe that there's not so much search volume on it for SEO. So there's not so much search volume on it. And on my blog, this would just like be in, there and nothing would happen. So the advantage of having it with Sitebulb is that they have a massive following. So by one post, it would get out and exposed to a broader audience. It is a bit, well, if we can call it strategy, that's the strategy. Whereas like very technical articles, I would host them with me because I'm also very a big believer in owning your stuff, owning your content. Because you never know, you control it and you never know what happens to other domains.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to be careful who you work with. I think just don't be afraid to pitch. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you have something, don't be afraid. As someone who's been through it with search engine land, I did not burn that bridge after sending an article that, wasn't to the standard of my first one. I thought, oh my God, I've burned my bridge forever now. But I didn't. And I did publish again. So it's just don't be afraid. I think a lot of freelancers and a lot of women in particular, even if they're not freelancers, are afraid of making mistakes. Okay. Now we've spoken about links, but one of the things these days that is mentioned a lot is mentions.
What a lovely intro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're apparently they're making a comeback. I mean, they've always been important in my eyes. It was never just about a link. It was also about a mention. But now we're talking about them a bit more. So what's your opinion on the whole like mention side of
mention
things?
thing. So I still take the stance that there's still many blue links in a search query on Google, and especially if you're going more into the transactional queries, AI overview may not be triggered. So it's still good if you work on your SEO and if you work on your links. So I'd still say take the link, but also take the mention. So maybe like a year or 2 years ago, I would have kind of asked for a link or asked repeatedly for a link, whereas now my sentiment changed towards, okay, maybe I got an unlinked mention somewhere, I would ask for a link, it will not turn into a link, okay, let's call it day. Like, don't overstress about it. And then we have also, authority, where are you mentioned? Are you mentioned on an unrelated blog, or are you mentioned on a reputable website? I change the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, to sum it up, take the link, but if you only get a mention, like, it's okay.
Yeah, this is the thing. I come from the marketing side, not just the SEO side. So I've always had this idea that it's not about the quantity of links, or it's not about whether if it's a link or not. I mean, obviously, I do follow link in an publication that is very directly connected to what you do is really important and really valuable. But for me, the other side of things is the authority. So making sure that it's a quality mention or a quality link. And by that, I don't mean, domain authority. I mean, if I'm an SEO and building links in, I'm getting mentions and building links in cheese production, it's not gonna, that does not place you in the same kind of topical area of what you actually do. So you're not actually building any, site authority. You're not building any authority as a brand. So for me, it's more important to be very tactical about where they are than thinking, well, let's just put them anywhere, because I think that can actually hurt you.
Yeah, I guess we can always ask us, would the user follow to this website? So you mentioned cheese production, probably then they won't follow to my SEO service. But if the article would be it's on Sitebulb, maybe then like they follow you. And also the thing is like, there's also the user traffic. It's not just the link, choose, etc. So it's also and the traffic. So if you're happy about the traffic coming from that page, then probably it's a good link.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. There's kind of, how will Google think of me because I have been mentioned or I have a link in this publication. And
Exactly.
then there is the traffic. And usually it aligns because ultimately that's how it all works.
Yeah.
It's kind of Google is looking at the topic that you're positioning yourself into, and your users, care about that particular topic as well. So
Yeah.
it aligns. It's a good point. So we spoke about mentions, we spoke about links. One of the things that you briefly mentioned that I wanted to dig a little bit into was HARO.
Yes.
Okay. Give
Made a
us your
comeback.
HARO strategy.
My strategy. When HARO went down, I moved to Featured, and now I know that HARO got alive again. I did not, I stayed with Featured. I didn't get back to the new version of HARO. My strategy is to time block the time I spend per reply, because you could go on forever. I mean, unlike the communities on Featured or on HARO, the conversion rate is lower. So I would limit really the time, let's say, to half an hour per pitch, to not spend too much. I would go for queries, really high SEO queries, topics related to SEO, or eventually also to WordPress, where I'm also active in the community, just to already have this relevance as an author or as a contributor. And then concise answers, like to the point, bullet points, structure. And well, with Featured, they already have all your data, the image and the title. HARO, I would always kind of put a disclaimer at the bottom and just name, role, image, URL, credentials, social credentials, just to serve everything on a silver platter for the journalist. And so there is no back and forth.
And did you find what works? Did you find that if you're commenting on a particular trend or topic or whatever it is, those work better than, or, it's hard to say better, but what do you go in with? Do you go in with a comment for a trend, or do you try and always put a bit of case study elements into it, what you worked with clients and stuff? What's
Yeah, I'm more the data type. I would put, if possible, data, or then my own experience, to make it kind of quantifiable, so that it's a lived experience. It's not made up, and also it cannot be done from an AI. I'm not so much good with commenting about trends and futures, because I think who am I to judge? I have no idea what happens next year. It doesn't matter. Well, maybe it matters, but I'm more the fact type person.
And that's what works. That's the thing. Everybody, if you're going to do HARO, you have to have that first party data, because, I studied journalism, and I was a journalist as well for very briefly in my youth in Croatia. And I will only take a comment if you have an amazing name. So, if I was a journalist for an SEO publication and the top 3 SEOs came to me and just made a comment, I might consider adding that. The rest, I want the data, because you go out as a journalist to get that first party insight. You don't go out for opinions.
Yeah. And it's also you write under your name. It's your reputation at stakes.
Yeah, exactly.
And in terms of, I think that's the other thing as well, is that it's often the quantity that you do as well. It's obviously, giving yourself half an hour each one. It's that but you do have to do a few, don't you? Because it's before you even start to see a success rate, or at least in my experience, that's the case, is that you really need to kind of, put the effort in to really answer quite as many as possible, really, because it's like conversion rates. It's you need to, you need to really kind of keep doing it consistently, even if you're seeing no results, because then, after say 1 month, one lands, or 6 weeks time, somebody comes back from a story that was ages ago, and because there was no information about when this story was even going to be coming out anyway, so it's a very thankless task, isn't it? HARO and the like.
And well, if I may allow a shout out to featured.com. I'm not affiliate or anything, but they have this wonderful dashboard where you can see where you pitched, and you can easily see your conversion rate. You can see when something was published. So with HARO, it was like a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
But here you can kind of see what is happening. So I would do HARO and Featured, especially in the beginning when I didn't have like any interactions on my blog, on my website, to get some initial links. And this was good for this. Then afterwards, now I would move on to more like to be active in communities and to other like daily or weekly activities I'm already doing, and I can then leverage for the links. Whereas HARO and Featured, you go especially inside for the links.
Brilliant. Yeah. It's interesting that you would like start with that. Like, I find that that's the hardest one to get because with communities, you just need to show up as yourself, and you can use your experience to help somebody and show that you're there for the right reasons and learn from others. Whereas when you're going in with HARO, you need to be very strategic. You need to have actual data to back everything up. It's not opinions, like it's not, oh, I know this because it's best practice. It's,
I see.
you have to like, we all know that core website vitals are not part of like ranking, but they are important. So you have to go in, you can say that for somebody in a community and say, these are some of the things that I look at and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But for a HARO link, you need to have a case study that like directly shows how this has, impacted not just traffic, but further down the funnel, the conversion side of things. So
I see.
Yeah.
I think so. In the community, you already have kind of the authority with you because you're there, because you're contributing. Whereas,
but I think the general kind of theme that I'm getting, and I think obviously we touched on it quite a bit, is that I think it seems counterintuitive, but to kind of build links and to build mentions and things, you almost have to kind of forget about it a little bit as like a secondary. You basically, you do just have to become active within your community. And by active, I mean, it's like talking to people, networking, but contributing and trying to add and bring value and bring your experience. And I think what happens from that is that you just get this fallout of being mentioned or being invited to say podcast or come and have a chat with us, or, oh, could you write about that particular experience? And that's kind of like the secondary thing that happens is that, well, if you just become an active member and if you're bringing value, then you tend to create these opportunities in the sense that they just tend to come because you're starting to add interesting things into the conversation. And I think that then the byproduct of that is links and mentions. I think that's what I'm getting from the general way to kind of sum it up with the community side. HARO is, it's like a minefield, isn't it? And it's, it brings me on. I have to ask this because we're talking about link building and mentions.
No, I don't pay.
Paid links. Yeah, paid links.
She knew what you were going to ask the second you said.
The elephant in the room. No, never. Like, not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me, not for client. Never done it and will never do it.
Yeah. And in terms of
very good way of doing it.
I guess the question would be, what is your position? Why do you think paying for links isn't the way forward?
Yeah, it's against the guidelines, the Google guidelines. Not doing it, following the guidelines.
Good. Completely, like kosher, which is, it's the way to go. I mean, it's like organic links are the best links. And I think, I'm with you on that one.
But this is what we were saying, is that if you're active within your community, if you're providing value, if you're engaging with people, you're generally building up a reputation that way. And you're generally kind of, building up your standing within you amongst your peers, right? And your colleagues. So that will naturally come with being mentioned more. And that would naturally come with being linked to more. If you pay to kind of fast track that process by paying to get mentioned or paying to get links, then you kind of undermine that growth in the sense that, well, you might not actually have a community to fall back on when you do actually need some help. And you might have like a community that actually doesn't, who is this person, and I think that's the way to kind of potentially look at the difference of that, is that, you're kind of, if you're paying for it, you are fast tracking that kind of, that hard work that it takes to kind of get respect from your peers, but also build yourself and kind of build your own profession, I guess, in the way as well, because all of it, like we said at the beginning, is like, it's learning, isn't it? It's like you're kind of going out there and you're saying, look, let's all learn together and let's grow together, but you kind of miss that step. So it's almost like you're kind of skipping that step, I guess, if you pay for it,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So
Yeah.
There's like this.
yeah, it's a nice controversial end, isn't it, to
Yeah.
this section?
But I mean, I sometimes get the emails where people they offer me money to link to them, and no, I'm not doing it. But I mean, there were milliseconds when I was like, wow, would just be like so easy money now. Like just put a link and get a couple of hundred of francs. But yeah, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's because it's the reputation. What's the risk?
Yeah, exactly.
What is the risk of doing that? That's always risk versus benefit kind of analysis that has to happen in a second.
And it's my maps have evolved from a personal blog towards now my business website. So there's also, I mean, there's my business at stake. Like I don't want to. It's not the business at stake, but there's some reputation and some lead source at stake. So I don't want to kind of risk it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Where would you? All right. I'm mindful of time. We've spoken a lot about a lot of things, like we always do here at SEOs Getting Coffee. It's always a chat that goes a little bit like that, and that's what we're about. Last thing.
All right.
Room 404.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a room where we invite guests to banish something that has either annoyed them this week or for longer term. It can be something digital marketing related. It can be something that is not digital marketing related. It's up to you, Corina.
Right.
What would you like to banish into room 404?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, to stay on the topic of link building, I would banish those unfriendly outreach messages on LinkedIn, mostly unpersonalized, well, often in relation to money, offering money for links and so on. Yeah, I don't like it. And also it kind of takes away the joy for me to open the LinkedIn messages. And I've also I missed messages from lovely people because I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then the automated, like if I don't reply, which happens, the automated follow-up, I don't like that.
Yeah, my favorites, I got 3 yesterday that were all different. They put the name in the emails like different actors. So I had it was Kirsten Stewart. I think I had, who else did I have? I think Tom Hardy. I think so. I just had these
celebrities
requests for links from these people who are using these actors' names to obviously try to, I don't know what, get my attention. I don't know. So yeah.
So what I do
never strikes
it's an interesting one. There's these kind of dear sirs and stuff like that you just ignore the connection requests. But sometimes you accept the connection requests, not realizing that that's the motivation, because you kind of think they have 50 something connections in common, so I'll just accept. And then immediately you get into your DM. Oh my God. That's like a sure way to get just unconnected, unfollowed from my end, because I hate it when that happens. And it's bad because I know some really good link builders, like really, really good, that are doing it in the way that you should be doing link building. But now, because of that, as soon as I see any kind of mentions of a link on a connection, I will immediately not accept it, because I'm worried that they're just going to spam my DMs. So
yeah, it's a pity.
Put it in room 404. We're with
exactly.
We're with you.
And folks out there, please remember.
Yes. Brilliant. So Corina, it was amazing chatting to you. You obviously have a very successful freelance business that you have worked very hard for, and in a way that is not only strategic, but very human, which I think we all appreciate. Is there a place for people to find you? Where, if you want to get in contact with Corina, what's the best place to do it?
Yeah, I think my website, as we're talking about it, it's Corina Burri with 2r.com/contact. Or else I'm on LinkedIn, and if you don't ask for a link, I reply. Yeah, there's Search Central Zurich coming up. I will be there. You will be there as well, Emina. We will see each other. We can happy to have it.
Yeah, have a chat about terrible link builders.
Yeah, or live.
Complain, rant.
I wonder if maybe you'll be able to take a picture together, actually, because maybe I'll have the photo booth there again.
Yeah.
I've got some pretty terrible pictures from last year on that.
Yeah, one of them is in the office. Brilliant. Corina, thank you so much for
Thank you so
joining
much.
us today.
Thank you for the conversation.
Our listeners will obviously put Corina's links and everything so that you can follow her and connect with her. Please ask us any questions you may have about the episode. And of course, the usual marketing: subscribe, like, comment, all of that lovely things that we'd love our listeners to be doing all the time. So let us know what you thought. Thank you so much, Corina. And
Thanks, Corina.
till next time.
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.